Good morning, everyone. Good morning. You got to give me a minute here to get Instagram going. How many of you have Instagram? Drop in the comments. Do you do more on Facebook or are you more Instagram girl? I would love to know. I need to get better at Instagram. I've just been doing little lives on Instagram on Saturday mornings, but I need to get way better on Instagram. It seems like that's where everybody's at. All the young people, anyway. Facebook is more my demographic. I'm comfortable on Facebook. Definitely on Facebook more than Instagram. But, Aunt Barb has all these nieces and nephews on Instagram that are following every Saturday. And they like it better when it's on there. Sorry, guys. I am using our Blackstone grill as a desk today because I want to be outside where it's beautiful. I feel like I've been on a Zoom ever since we've gotten here. And today I'm like, you know what? I want to be comfortable outside in the sunshine. So we'll see how long this lasts, but I'm excited to be here with you. Barb Pitcock, No Guts, No Story. Drop in the comments how many years you've been watching. And if you're new here, say new. But there are a lot of you that have been following for some time now. And I just appreciate you being that person that's always on, always commenting. Let me know where you're coming in from. And the angle's going to be a little different on Instagram than it is on Facebook. But anyhow, okay, so No Guts, No Story today is going to be a little different. I did not have a lot of time to read. I didn't have a lot of time this week to really focus in on what I was going to talk about. And I'll tell you something. I got to give kudos to my son Chance because this man wakes up every single day and he reads and he prays and he meditates and then he works out and then he saunas and then he cold plunges. Discipline, a concentrated effort, right? He's a single dad. So let me tell you, while I'm making excuses, he wakes up in the morning. He has been commuting 45 minutes to their school. He's moving into a house on Monday. But every day, 5 a.m. starts the workout, the sauna, the cold plunge, the reading, the prayer, then the breakfast, the spelling words, the drive to school. I'm just amazed at his discipline, I think I would say. So shout out Chance Pitcock for today's topic because he really keeps me on track. It's sad when your kids are the ones keeping you on track, but it's actually so I'm so proud of him, and I don't say that enough. My kids are all amazing and they do so much and they're just incredibly disciplined, focused on their journey. So, for those of you that don't know about the little red books that Dave always talks about, he bought these red books one year and they're called The Laws of Success. And The Laws of Success, it's a really expensive, like thousands of dollars for this set of books. And it was condensed later to be put into Napoleon Hill's book. And when you think about years and years ago, like our founding fathers, Dale Carnegie, Zig Ziglar later became like a top, what would you say, personal development trainer, coach, Jim Rohn. They all came from this era of like, these are the principles, and we're from America, the land of the free, and like free enterprise, personal development, learning, growing, setting goals was like a new phenomena, if you will. And these laws of success were actually never like put into a little small book because they were so powerful. People were afraid. Napoleon Hill's wife was literally afraid that if it was published, that there could be something bad happen to her husband. That's how scared she was of publishing these laws of success. So when I think about it, like, what is the great book? So, the great book, the Bible, obviously is something that universally almost everyone has read and referred to. And I know there are a lot of people that agree and disagree because religion kind of messed it all up, where everybody started fighting about which church instead of just being the church. But regardless of what church or what belief you have, there are laws of success, right? There are laws of success, like gravity. What goes up must come down. So if I go and I throw the spatula up in the air, it's going down. There's no doubt about it. It's going down. If I have a habit that I do every single day, day after day after day, the laws of success are that my habit will change if I continue to do it day after day after day. So last night, I went on a boat ride. I had this whole plan. I was going to come home and study for the call because I really put a lot of effort into these weekly broadcasts. And Dave and I went to this thing called the Pelican Festival, and we were waiting in line. I had this one thing that I was craving, and Dave wanted something else. And we were like, should we go here or should we go there? And randomly, one of my bridesmaids from 1993 that I've maybe seen like 4 or 5 times since, best friend when Dave and I were first getting married and starting our families, she's in line at the same food truck. And this is weird because it's happened 2 times this week. Last week at the homecoming game, one of Dave's groomsmen that we've only seen 1 time since we got married 32 years ago, maybe twice, and that was at his mom's funeral. He was at the game and we rekindled our friendship. And last night, randomly, other than my sister being my maid of honor, next was my friend Tina. There she was. So, needless to say, the night did not go as planned because 2 hours later, we were sitting there talking and reminiscing about kids and grandkids and all the things. So I got home, and one of my habits every night, I always FaceTime my grandkids. Always. So I get into bed and I FaceTime and I hear that Lola got a perfect score on her spelling test. I'm like so proud of her because this year has been a lot. And we were just celebrating that she got a perfect score on her spelling test. And then I said, Chance, I've got to get off the phone and really dial in on what I'm doing tomorrow morning because it's 11 o'clock. And, I have to really focus in on a good topic. And without a doubt, he's like, Mom, it's what we've talked about every single day this week. It's the power of concentration. And I'm like, you're right. That's really simple. So I want you guys to drop in the comments and be honest. How concentrated are you on one thing right now? Now, score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. If you looked over the last week and you said, this was my goal, and I was laser focused, and I'm scoring myself just like Lola got a score on her spelling test. If someone was grading you on your concentration, which means discipline, definiteness of purpose, dialed in, look at it every day, think about it every day, say it every day, do the right things long enough consistently, like you're not distracted at all, give yourself an honest score on a score of 1 to 10. Would you be 10 knocking it out of the park or 1 sucking at the back of the line? Like, where would you be? And if you're very, very focused, you understand the power of concentrated energy. So one year for Christmas, Chance said, Dad, for Christmas, I want your Laws of Success books. And Dave's like, you're not getting my Laws of Success books, but I'll buy you some of your own. So we bought Chance this really thick. It's like 5 inches. If you go look it up, the Laws of Success, probably $700 on eBay. But I printed one of the screenshots that Chance sent me last night, and my ink is going out of my printer. But just 1 page a day, guys. Just 1 page a day. A concentrated effort for you to get better. When you get better, everything else gets better. Here's the reality. People won't do it. People won't do it. I could be like, come over here. I'm going to lead you to this water, and you could catch a really big fish. And some of you would be like, is there going to be a snake in the water? That's a long walk to the water. I don't know if I like to fish. Are the fish going to bite? How big are the fish? Are they going to have parasites? Like, that's what happens, right? So People question everything. I got to cancel a print job that keeps popping up on my phone. And they just won't do it. They won't concentrate. Or it goes like this. I'm going to do it. Well, I was going to do it, but then something else happened. Well, I was going to do it, but then, this person didn't do what they said they were going to do. So I didn't hit my goal. No, it's a one-person job where you decide that you're going to be disciplined and you focus and you don't let anything get in your way. So one page is going to change your life. The Law of Success, lesson number 12 in the book. Concentration. Write this down. This lesson occupies a keystone position of the entire course of the Laws of Success, because the reason the psychological law upon which it is based is of vital importance is it controls every other lesson of the course. Let us define the word concentration. Okay, if you were to go look this up, concentration is the act of focusing the mind upon a given desire until the ways and means for its realization have been worked out and successfully put into operation. I'm going to read this again. The Law of Success, lesson number 12, concentration. Let us define the word concentration. Okay, listen. Concentration is the act of focusing your mind on a given desire, which is something you don't have yet, and keeping your mind focused until the ways and the means, the resources, the people, the new customer, the new leader that joins your team, the buyer for your house or your product, or the investor for your patent or your idea that you dreamed up, like all things will come together and they've all been worked out successfully and put into operation. And it's the realization of a worthy ideal once you have concentration. So 2 important laws enter into the concentrating the mind on the given desire. One is the law of autosuggestion. So we'll get into that in a minute. And the other one is the law of habit. Now, I don't know how many of you guys have good habits or bad habits, but I don't have a lot of bad habits. I am very, very disciplined in my day. If there's anything that I do to waste time and take away my concentration of where I'm going, the only distraction I have is FaceTiming my kids and grandkids. I know it's annoying. I know Callie's husband's like, are you FaceTiming your mom again? And I know every time Dave comes to bed, he's like, oh, my wife's in bed, but she's FaceTiming the grandkids. I miss my family and I FaceTime them a lot. But other than that, I am laser focused. I don't have any distraction in my life other than my family and my business. And so as a result of that, we are absolutely breaking records. People will say, how is she doing that? Follow me around for a day. Watch my habits. Habit grows your environment. Doing the same thing every single day, long enough, consistently. And that repetition of keeping it going and keeping it going and keeping it going and keeping it going and never letting off, not even if you get COVID. And I'm not kidding you guys. There was a time about a week and a half ago where I was like, I went to the doctor. She's like, do you want a COVID test? I'm like, absolutely not. I ain't got time for that. I'll just make sure I don't go around people. I'm not putting it in my head. I'm not putting it in my mind. I'm not sick. I don't have it. I'm not staying sick and I'm getting well. Here's the difference in me and most everybody that I'm around. What they focus on grows. And they're all focused on something that they don't want to grow. So it's so dang frustrating for me because I'm like, why are you talking about that? Do you want more of that? No. Then why are you talking about it? Because it's the reality, Barb. It's reality. Sometimes you got to come back to reality and not just think the way you think. Well, my way works better than most of the people that I see around me who are constantly focused on who's saying what, who's gossiping about what, who did something wrong, who's going to jail, who should be going to jail that's not, who's a good person, who's a bad person, who's a wonderful person that changed the whole world and who they think is the villain. Do you guys understand? In every good movie and in every story in the news, there's the hero and there's the villain. If not, there wouldn't be a story. But here's the thing that I always take into consideration. I've been on both sides of that. And do you know what the laws of success say? What you focus on grows, and the highest vibration of all is authenticity. So then they'll say, oh, but I'm being authentic with my words. This is how I feel. Well, the second highest vibration of all is joy and love. So while you're being authentic, ask yourself, what are you concentrated on? Because what you concentrate on is going to grow. And your authenticity is very important. That's the highest vibration you've got. But love and kindness and joy trumps everything. And if you don't have that, you're not only lowering your vibration, but everyone else around you, and you will never, ever experience the law of success working in your favor. Because success doesn't attack anyone, and the laws of success say what we focus on grows, and it's like a habit. So we just talked about two things. You focusing your mind and concentrating on any given desire. So let me ask you something. What do you want? I want you to hold that in your mind. And then I want you to not think about what you don't want. So like, don't think of an elephant. Well, when I tell you that, you think about it. So here's what I'm going to say to you. If you don't change the way you think, you will never change your life. And if you don't change your environment, you will continue to get what you've always got. And you will be the average of the conversations, the incomes, the ideas, the marriages, the health, the weight, the sleep, everybody around you. The result that they're getting, it's going to rub off on you if you don't change your environment and your habits. So you say, but I love this person and I just know they're going to change. There's one person that you can change. And I am the master at this. I have lived with people who were incredibly depressed. I have been in a family of people that were incredibly positive, and I've also been in a family with people that were incredibly negative. I have been people that half my family is born again Christian and believers, and I've also had family that says we're not even having a funeral because we're not a believer. And you know what? Here's where I stand. Everyone can believe what they believe, but I know what I believe and my habits and what works for me. And I love them all. It's practicing the art of allowing them to be exactly who they are, because that's how God made them. And guess what? They're on their own journey. And in time, they're either going to find their happiness and success or they're not. That's not my job. There's 3 compartments where your laws of success need to be filed. Your business, that's anything that is up to you or it won't happen. Not your business, that's everything that you do not have direct control of. And if you can't control it, it's not your business. And number 3 is things that don't make sense. Things that don't make sense that you're never going to figure out. Why did a young policeman with children in my hometown get shot last week when he was called to help a girl that was experiencing domestic violence? It just doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair. It's devastating. It was in the news, the entire town, community, everybody's rocked by it. I don't understand why things like that happen in the world. They're not fair. It's devastating. What I don't do is hate the shooter. What I don't do is judge the family of the shooter whose child was mentally ill, maybe didn't even know what he was doing. Obviously, they called authorities to come and help. Thank goodness the wife is alive, but that doesn't take away the pain of the officer that was shot. So I could go in my mind all week. Why does this happen? The world is so messed up. This is not fair. It's devastating. Then my heart's breaking for the wife and the children. I don't know any of them. I'm rarely even in Russell or Ellis County. I'm always in a different state. but I care, I can't change it. So there are people who will not be okay because they're trying to figure out why the world is so messed up and it's not fair. I'm going to be honest with you. My heart goes to both families because I've been on the other side of that. When I think of the day that Dave's brother took his life and the letters that he left and the habits that he had and the environment that he was in and the battle that he was fighting, I'm grateful that it wasn't a lot worse, because it definitely could have been. And I think the wisdom that I have gained from the experience that I have had in my lifetime helps me to see things from a completely different perspective than someone who has not experienced that pain. What I'm not going to do is post a whole bunch of hate and a whole bunch of blame and a whole bunch of, why does this have to be this way? Because there's my business, there's not my business, and there's God's business. And at the end of this lifetime, guys, we have one judge, one, and it's not me and it's not you. So concentrated laws of success tell me this: if every day I wake up and watch KWCH News, there was another tragedy that happened last night, because now that I clicked on the one, it's alerting me of everything that happens in Kansas. And then last night, I'm like, why did this happen? This poor kid was 19 years old. And was he driving to school? Was he driving to football practice? There was a kid with him. It's devastating. Another life, right? So my mind can't mentally take in everything that's happening in the world and do what I do. I absolutely cannot do it. If you can, you're incredibly strong. If you can, you got superhuman powers. And you have to understand that your mind, which runs everything in your body, cannot hold two thoughts at the same time. So I cannot say, I'm going to have an amazing month. It's going to be crazy. We're going to break all the records. I just saw that this kid rolled his car and killed the passenger on his way to practice on Friday morning. Like, I can't hold both of those thoughts at the same time. I either have to go here or I have to go here. So the law of concentration says there is like a record player turning. Any of you ever have an old 45 or 33 record player? I know I'm going to be 55. Like, this probably doesn't pertain to 50% of my audience, but anybody remember the turntable that your mom and dad had when there was like records playing? I can remember coming home from school and my grandma was always listening to Anne Murray. Like, we didn't get to listen to a lot of things. She banned most of the albums I wanted to buy at our little record store, but Anne Murray was, one of her favorites. And it's funny, I can't remember where I left my phone yesterday unless I drink my mushroom juice, but I can remember every word to every Anne Murray song. And the reason why is because it was ingrained in my head. Yes. Yes, Janet, you light up my life. Now I got the whole song going in my head. You give me hope to carry on. You light up my life. Like, you can think of every single word because it's ingrained in your head. So I want you guys to think about this. And I pulled up a little graphic. When you have something in your head, and it's over and over and over again, it's like a record going around. The needle goes around. What happens if the record gets scratched? If the record gets scratched, the needle that was going around playing the song gets bumped. And then it'll just keep playing the same thing. Instead of going, you light up my life, it would go, light up, light up, light up, light up, light up, light up, because it can't get to the next groove. Well, what happens is our habits and our thoughts and the things that we put in start to be like the record player in the groove, right? So the needle's going around and it's trying to go around, but here's an example. Let's say that I say, I'm so depressed. I'm just so sad about blah, blah, blah. Okay, now what happens is my mind says, I'm sad. Now, I might be sad, but what I could say is, here's an example. And if you know me, you know that I love Keith Urban. And when you look at music, musicians, I gave my 4 tickets to my sister and all her girls in the pit last week to go without me, not knowing it would be a show that would be like the number one thing in the news. But regardless, I always loved their story because they got married. He went into treatment for alcoholism. It was a true love story. She's very modest, conservative, beautiful, classy. Like, if I was ever going to be like, what a classy lady, like, I like Nicole Kidman. I like both of them, right? I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to go be mad and say, oh my gosh, he's a cheater. He's probably with his younger guitar player, because I don't even know that to be true. The other side might say, well, she's a workaholic and she worked so hard that she was never there. And then that made it happen. Here's the reality, guys. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. It has nothing to do with me getting from where I'm at right now to where I want to be for my life, my business, my family, my health, my sleep, my aging process. But people get so distracted with everything that's going on every single day around them. Every single day. And here's what I want to urge you guys. Most of what you see isn't even true, and it's hijacking you from your dreams and goals. 2 nights ago, this thing popped up on Facebook that this girl was a waitress in Kansas City at like Wingstop or somewhere. And all these people were betting on games all day. They were betting on football games, and they spent like $400 or $500 on their bets. They got $400 or $500 worth of drinks. And at the end of the night, they signed their tab, paid for their $500 in alcohol, and didn't leave the girl a tip. So in the story, the girl brought them their to-go tray full of wings, flipped it all over the guy that was the customer. I mean, I was distraught reading this, and threw the hot wings all over, right? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. My first instinct was like, I don't blame her. She was probably a single mom trying to buy diapers and put some milk in a bottle. And she just took care of all these drunk people that gave all their money to alcohol and gambling and then gave her nothing. Like, I went for the underdog. I was like, the girl deserved a tip. And then all the comments were either like, she's a horrible person, or the comments were like, what's her bail money? It showed her in an orange jumpsuit in jail. She got arrested for assault and battery or something. And people are going down this rabbit hole, guys. They're all going down the rabbit hole. 1,000 and some comments. It's clickbait. It's clickbait to put up an ad to sell a freaking t-shirt or a phone cover or some noble suitcase that I bought. And so while I'm down the rabbit hole trying to pick whose side I'm on, I'm like, does this have anything to do with tomorrow morning Saturday training call? How am I going to wake up and be at the top of my game and lead thousands of people, 50,000 customers, 2 top leaders that did $500,000 in volume just in their teams last month, 1 girl that sold 150,000 by herself? They're looking to me. The next biggest leader is looking to me saying, what can I do? How can I get better? Mentor me, help me grow. I want to be financially free. I want to be fit. I want to write a book. I want my family to have a lake house near yours. I want a vacation with you. I want to go on the free cruise that you're offering. I want my marriage to be healthier. I want to be able to not feel sad. And then I show up halfway. Can y'all even imagine? So I clicked out of there, and right away I said, that is probably fake news. And it's hijacking me from my concentration and my focus. But once it entered my mind, I could not get it out of my mind. And I looked at Dave and I said, Dave, why do I feel kind of sad about Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman? Why do I feel so sad about everything that's happening back home with this officer and this kid that shot the officer and took his life? Like, what I am feeling this. I didn't say I am sad and depressed. I said I am feeling this, and I don't know how to not feel this because I'm human, but I really got to get myself out of this state. And you guys, changing your state will change your life. It's okay to be sad for a minute, but not for a lifetime. It's okay to be exposed to like what's going on in the world, but not 24/7. CNN is called CNN because it's constant negative news. Fox News is no different. The only thing that sells is negative. It's where our brains want to go. So all the distractions are out here, right? So here I am. I'm going to get the company to grow by 1 million in sales this month. We're going to grow by 1 million in sales. We're going to reach 50,000 new people. 50,000 new people are all going to be wanting to rise and vibe with us. We know it's going to happen. Let's go. Who wants to be a part of this? Okay, let's go. Okay, wait a minute. I'm just sitting here with Dave. I'm watching this. I just can't get past it. Oh, wait a minute. Our team is undefeated, and we've not been undefeated for 25 years. I'm so excited about that. Wait a minute. We lost. Well, that ref probably cheated. He shouldn't have made that call, or we wouldn't have lost. Like all these little things would start into my mind. So here's what I do. This is my daily habits. Very little distraction. Only after everything else is done. And the first thing in the morning and the last thing at night, I have to feed my mind, because what I focus on grows. And when I wake up in the morning and I'm exposed to all that, it hijacks my whole day. When I go to bed at night and I'm exposed to all of that, my subconscious works while I sleep and gives me more of what I don't want. So I don't go there. I just absolutely don't go there. When you look at the laws of success, thank you, Chance, for sending me this last night. This is what it says. Habit is the basis of all memory training. A fact in which you may easily demonstrate in remembering the name of the person who you just met. If I just saw last night, I was with Tina and John, my good friends, and they have a new grandbaby coming, and they have a new daughter-in-law, and her name's Brianna. So if I wanted to remember Brianna, I would be like, Brianna. Oh yeah, her name's Brianna. I would say it over and over and over again in my mind. The force of education becomes so great that it develops a habit. So 2 weeks ago, Lola was struggling on her spelling test. So we made these little cards, and on their early morning commute every day, Chance has like 45 minutes in the car. And then on their way home, they would take these little squares that had the words, and bless his heart, he's cutting them up and he's putting them all in a little envelope and reading them to her. And some days she would get so frustrated because she couldn't get it, but the repetition would help her to remember it. So the force of education is so great that we mold the minds and the manners of the young into whatever shape we want it with our impressions and habits that then remain. Except on rare occasions, when the mind arises and draws the material out of which it thought was created from the surrounding environment, this habit starts to crystallize, right? And it forms a way in which your conscious mind becomes a vital part of your everyday life and your personality, which silently influences, listen to me, your actions. It forms your prejudices, it makes your biases, and it controls your opinions. It absolutely does. So here's what I would say. We first endure, then we pity, and finally we embrace. That is the way that a habit becomes. A great philosopher once said that. It wasn't me. Habit may be likened to the grooves of a phonographic record, like I was just talking about, where the needle point fits into the groove. And when the habit has been well formed, the groove gets deeper and deeper and deeper. By repetition of thought, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And the mind attaches itself to it, and the habit follows the groove. The habit just follows the groove. And the only way that you can fix that groove ever on a record is to put wax in it so that the needle won't go there. So how do you form a new groove? You got to stack beliefs, and you got to do the same habit every single day. So instead of me going to get ice cream and cereal every night, I have to go to get meat and cheese. Instead of me waking up every morning and scrolling on my phone, I have to lace up my tennis shoes and go on a walk. Instead of me wanting to go FaceTime my grandkids for 3 hours, I might FaceTime them for 20 minutes and maybe not do it until I made my 10 new conversations. I can still have the things that I love as a part of my life, but you got to focus on what you want, because what you focus on grows. And what happens is the more you focus on it, the more it grows. And pretty soon you can't get out. So there's an importance of your environment. And the importance of your environment is so important that I think most people don't even understand it. You have to understand that the environment that you're in, the sum total of the sources all around you and how you are influenced by them, the 5 senses that you have, what you see, what you hear, listen to me, what you smell, what you taste, and what you feel is what you are going to have. Habit is force, which is always recognized by the average thinking person, but which is very commonly viewed as the aspect to the exclusion of its favorable face. So, men are the creatures of habit. And when you think about it, habit is a cable. We weave that cable every single day. More thread, more thread, more thread. We have these beautiful bracelets that were given out this month. They're literally copper that's woven together to make this gorgeous gold and silver bracelet. And then it's tuned with frequency and it has magnets in it. And it literally just changes your health. It's crazy. But it took a lot to take those threads and to bend them and to wind them and to make this solid gold and silver bracelet. Then it takes a lot more to tune it. But I want you to think about this. If your habit is a cable and it's being twisted with a new thread every day, and that rope is getting stronger and stronger, or maybe it's metal, that piece of jewelry is getting just stronger and bigger and thicker every single day, it's going to become so strong eventually that we can't break it. It's why it's so hard for people to get out of addiction. It's why it's so hard for people to get out of an abusive relationship. It's why it's so hard for people to quit spending money they don't have on things they don't need and get out of debt. It's why it's so hard for people to quit doing all the things that make them feel low and go do something that would make them feel better. And if the habit starts to rule your life, and in many cases take your life, you have to have other forces of nature to change it. You must master the habit and set it to work instead of being a slave to the habit. You must master the habit and put it to work instead of being a slave to the habit that you have created. And I'm telling you, people will tell you, hard work is the only way. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. There's no good men left in the world. Well, let me tell you guys something. Hard work is not the only way. When it sounds too good to be true, you ought to check it out. And there's a lot of good men out there. But I grew up hearing men are bad. I mean, look at what your dad did. The whole world could see, like, that was bad. You got to work hard. You got to work hard. You can't sit down. You can't sit down. Idle time is the devil's workshop. Don't sit down. Don't stop. Don't play. Don't rest. And so what do? I'm a workaholic that literally attracted exactly what I had been told my whole life, until one day Dave Pitcock came along. Literally just changed all of my beliefs, all of my habits. Everything in my life changed just like that. But had I not left that town, ran far away, 15 hours away, had I not broke every single habit that I had been doing and said, wait a minute, God's telling me to go do this, I would still be, I don't even want to say it. It's terrifying to think where I would be had I not changed my environment, changed my habits, changed my thoughts, changed my daily rituals, changed my beliefs, my faith, the things that I practiced. And here's the thing, Dave worked on a construction crew. Let me tell you, those guys, they were going out every weekend. They were on a construction crew all week. They had a cooler ready when they got off work. A lot of unfaithful men. There was a lot going on the construction crew. But Dave had to be strong on his focus, his commitment, and his habits. And for some of you, you're pleasing everyone around you and you're letting all the outside stuff come in and you can't get focused. So if Dave Pitcock were doing this training And I told him I would love for him to do it, but he was busy this morning. Concentrate your mind upon what you want. Concentrate your mind upon what you want. When two or more people ally themselves in a spirit of perfect harmony for the purpose of attaining a worthy ideal, and you master it, you have the ability to do anything that you want. Anything that you want. Stating it in another way. If I get everyone in my company concentrating on, this is the way we're going to think, this is the way we're going to act, this is the way we're going to treat other people, and I organize this knowledge, everyone is coming, everyone is happy, everyone loves the product, everyone is winning, everyone can be successful, everyone can make impact. Ambition and desire, it's two chief aims that we've got to have. It's the magic key. If not, everything else is useless. You can have great habits and you can be very positive, but if you don't take action with ambition and desire for more, success is not coming to attack any of you. You've got to go get it. And in life, things have a tendency to not happen. It's up to us to make them happen. So I have got to tell you right now, the law of success is you concentrating on what you want like a laser beam. There's a whole bunch of light out here right now. Would you guys agree? There's light all around me. In fact, if I were to move my computer right now, the sunlight would be so bright, I couldn't even see all of you. So there's light all around me. And all it's doing is lighting up the world. But if I took that light and I put it all into one focus, and I said, here's all the light, we're going to make it go like this, all of it in one little focus, it would cut through this Blackstone grill. It would cut through the steel bar. It would cut through the steel dock down there. It would slice through metal like a scissor cutting a piece of paper. But people don't have focus. People don't have concentration. Everything is so diffused. And I love everyone. And I do care about everything else that's going on. But there is not enough of me to do everything else that's going on and be good at what I do. Ambition and desire are two chief factors in your success. If you don't have them, you don't have the magic key. Everything I've just told you is useless. But desire whatever you want. And if your desire is within reason and it's strong enough that you can concentrate on it, concentration will help you attain it. You got to concentrate consistently long enough. If I focus the laser and I go, it's not cutting anything. If I keep it focused on it long enough, we're going straight through it. I'm telling you guys, concentration is the key law in success. What you concentrate on grows, but you've got to have a deeply rooted desire. If I say, what's your name? And you say, my name is Terry. I see you, Terry. If I say, what's your name? And you say, I'm Danny, I'm Janet, I'm Craig, I'm Pamela. My next question to you is, what's your chief aim? What's your desire? What is your dream? What is the number that you need to make by the end of this month to buy that trip for the grandkids on Christmas, to go skiing, to get on the cruise, to pay off the credit card, to move into the new home? What's the number? Because when I say my name is Barb Pitcock. If you ask me what my number is, it's my password. It's my everything. I know it like I know my name, and I'm going straight to it. Nothing is stopping me. I don't care what's happening all around me. If the whole world around me is hating and screaming and tearing down, you're going to find me over here loving and believing and building you up, no matter where you're from, what you think, how you dress, how bad your past, what your religion, who you voted for. Guess what, guys? I don't care. I love you. And you are enough. And you can be and you can do and you can have anything that you dream of. Because what you do and how you think and how you believe and how you act is none of my business. There's my business, there's your business, and then there's God's business. Some of y'all need to get a filing cabinet and get all the stuff out of the things that you thought was your business and go put it in God's business so you can actually focus on what's the most important thing. Hi, Kelly Jackson coming in from Spain. Oh my gosh, I missed that girl. So anyway, what you focus on grows. What you concentrate on, you give power. What you think, what you believe creates a belief system and a groove in the record, and it's going to keep turning around and turning around. So if you say, I'm going to make $20,000 a month. It feels so good to make $20,000 a month. It feels so good to make $20,000 a month. And you're focused and you're like, what are the habits I need to stack? Okay, if I'm going to make $20,000 a month, I'm going to have to help a lot of people. I'm going to have to read more so I can grow, because if I grow, my income's going to grow. I'm going to have to be all love. I'm going to have to forgive. I'm going to have to take action. I might have to turn off the TV. I might have to go on a walk. Like whatever it is, you go, okay, I'm going to do the habits. I'm going to get in the right environment. Okay, if I'm going to be in the right environment, I better get in the room. I better get to the convention. I better listen to the podcast. I better read a good book. I better stack a bunch of beliefs. I better work hard on my dream, work harder on my dream and myself than I work on trying to judge everybody else, right? But here's what happens. The record's going. It's in a groove. And it's singing. It feels so good to be moving into my dream home. It feels so good to have my company doing 10 million a month, like whatever you're saying. And then when you get distracted, it goes like this. It feels, but it never gets to good, right? It's like the record that's stuck. And if you want to get in the groove and you really want to make things happen, you've got to concentrate on what you want, only on what you want, and it will grow. It's going to have you putting some ambition, some action, some discipline, and some new environments together. But I'm telling you guys, we've got a community to do that. We've got an opportunity to do that. We have mentors and coaches that are not just talking about it. They're making it happen. And everybody there is like, come over here with us. It's good over here. We're all love all the time. We're full of joy. We're full of hope. We're vibrating at such a high frequency where authenticity is invited. Come as you are. We're going to love you exactly how you are. But then there's people that are like, oh, I don't know. I'll get a 24 pack and talk about it tomorrow. Okay. That's choices. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm going to go get something and smoke it. And then maybe that'll make me feel better. Okay. That's choices. I love you. You can do whatever you want. Oh, I don't think I want to go on a walk and do all that health stuff. I think I would rather just sit right here and watch the game. I'm going to make me some popcorn and some ice cream. We can. Anything is okay in moderation, guys. What you got to ask yourself is, why are you getting the results you're getting, and why do you feel the way you feel? It's your choices and your thinking that makes it so. Nothing is good or bad. It's our thinking that makes it so. I'm going to say that again. There is nothing in the world that's good or bad. It's our thinking that makes it so. And if we didn't have the bad, we wouldn't know what we didn't want so that we could focus on the good. If you didn't have the bad, you wouldn't be able to focus on the good. And if you didn't have the hard times, you wouldn't have the strength. If you didn't experience the bad stuff, you wouldn't have the strength to keep the good stuff, because you would take it all for granted and you wouldn't appreciate what it actually took to get it. I'm pouring into you because I have been through a lot of this. I want to help you get from where you're at to where you want to be. But one of the laws of success is you've got to focus and you've got to concentrate and you've got to cut the fat and focus on the meat. What is the most important thing? What is the most important thing? Make the most important thing the most important thing, and you'll notice how everything else kind of falls away. And you're going to be like, thank God I didn't waste any more time with diffused focus, with distraction all around me, with lower vibration taking all of my energy. Why did I do that for so long? Because I didn't know that the law of success was concentration. So I'm going to end this broadcast how I began it. Thank you, Chance Pitcock, for my little reminder. He's always been that way. My kids are always the ones pushing me. The law of success. You can do it if you believe that you can. This lesson occupies a keystone position in the course for the reason psychological law upon which it is based is of vital importance to every other lesson you ever learn. Concentration is the act of focusing the mind upon a given desire until the ways and the means for its realization have been worked out and successfully put into operation. It's the laws of the universe, guys. When two or more are gathered and they pray in a spirit of belief, miracles happen. When you put your mind to something and 2 or more or 3 or 300 or 5,000 are in alignment, it's happening. And people ask me, how did you guys just have a month like that in September? It's not even November. How is your company growing so fast? How are all these people making so much money, having so much success? It's the power of concentration. I knew it would happen long before it happened. I believed it would happen. Even if everyone else quit, I would find 2 or 3 that would concentrate. And let me tell you guys something. A lot of you had people when you started your journey and your dream and your goal that you thought would be with you. You don't always end with the ones that you began with. And a lot of times success doesn't look like this. It looks like this. But it's the lows that give you the momentum to get to the highs. And you're entering the best chapter you've ever been in. You got to concentrate. You got to focus. You got to know what you want, change your environment, have discipline and ambition. And we're going to look back on this day and you're going to be like, Barb, thank you for just right upside the head. I got to get focused. I got to concentrate. I got to block out the distractions. And we're going to make this happen. I believe in you. I know you can if you will. Do me a favor. Share this on your wall. Tag a friend right now. Please tag a friend that needs to hear this message. And in the comments, put @ and their name and let me know what was your one takeaway. Drop in the comments what was your one takeaway that you were like, dang, that hit me. I need to know. I love you guys. I'll see you next Saturday on No Guts, No Story.